man. Businessman. I'm becoming more of a businessman than you. It's funny.
Why you say that? What?
You said that so calmly, but like just a little bit offended. Oh, why you say that? I'm like, because I'm the one telling you got to up your rate. That's why. You know that. But the way you said it, you're like, what? Excuse me? What do you do?
Come again?
What are you talking about, man?
This is dope, man. We're getting back together the first time in like 3 weeks, man. Black Box Show.
I know.
Fun show, we just a lot has been going on, personally from my side of the coin, and then for you as well. So it's just we've been out of the loop for a minute, but it's good to be back in the stool talking to you, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having, the time for me again. People don't understand, you say it's both of us, but we know who's busy around here. Mr. FTN now got his new show in the lab, killing it on the network. I edited it, but, I just get a small shout out like everybody else. The man, the myth, the legend, RayGQue, he's back. Black Box, we're here for you, man. The Lakers are out of the playoffs. Thank God, man. I'm sick of the Lakers winning games.
Man.
Are you watching the NBA playoffs?
If it's on late night, I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
I'll turn it on and watch it, but I'm not, half the time I don't know who's playing, when they're playing. Honestly, like I didn't even know Brooklyn and Milwaukee were playing earlier today until I saw it on Twitter. So to answer your question, not right now. Later on, once the finals probably pop off or the conference finals, I'll pay more attention. But shit, it's just, I haven't been paying attention, man.
Yeah, and you want to talk about a PR nightmare. Or I guess not a PR nightmare, but a ratings nightmare for the NBA when we see the eventual Utah Jazz play the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals. That's not going to be a big draw. Two small cities, no really big stars, maybe CP3, maybe Booker. Donovan Mitchell's having himself an excellent series against the Clippers. But once the Clippers are out, it's not looking good. The Nuggets are about to get swept tonight. More than likely, I believe Phoenix is winning at halftime, so it's like it's not looking good. On the East side, you got the Nets, but Kyrie, did you see Kyrie had a high ankle sprain today? Or it's not confirmed?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
yeah, it looked bad.
Man.
I saw everybody was tweeting about it. I saw that, man.
Nets are in trouble now. Those Brooklyn Nets favorites are in trouble with just KD. Like KD's still a superstar, but man, they can't beat Milwaukee. Not with all that size, not with Giannis, Chris, Drew Ballin. It's gonna be tough, and I'm with you. I haven't been watching as many games as I did last year. Like we talked about a bit off air, but the bubble for me was like a really cool experience. Like I know the players hated it, and so I feel bad that I loved it. But it was just different, It's something completely different from what we're used to seeing in the NBA. And for me, that was just like a really cool way to bring me back into the NBA. Because I'm not a super big NBA fan. I don't follow every team. I'm more of like a fantasy-driven narrative where I follow players. It's just, I don't know, man. Something about this year just feels like the old NBA, but with less superstars, less big high-end games, not a whole lot of excitement. I think I'm just kind of sick of it now. Like I think I'm just ready for football to start again. And I watched a bit of baseball. Like, didn't I hear your jersey came in recently?
Yeah, man. I ordered me my first Major League Baseball jersey, Fernando Tatis Jr. My first baseball jersey, that all white Padres pinstripe joint, man. I've been trying to get that jersey for a couple of months now, and it's been hard as hell to get. It's been sold out. And I finally caught it on MLB, on the MLB shop. And I ordered it and I got it in. I was like, yeah, I'm a bandwagon Padres fan. I don't give a damn. Tatis is cool. Yeah. Like that dude, man.
Yeah, man. You should have seen him today in New York. He went for a slam. Yeah, man. His slam was big. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win MVP. He might. He's playing well. Between him and Acuna, it's a two-man race. But talk about a dude that just has so much electricity on that roster. It's crazy.
So let's just talk for real right now. Let's just talk for real because it's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
You alluded to some of the sports stuff that's been going on, but it's been a minute that we've sat down to talk with one another, man. And the cool thing about this show and the feedback that I've gotten is people just are enjoying like real conversations, right? Not just always around the sports space. So many people that we've met and engaged with and built relationships with through this little fantasy football space, man. Like, they some good people and they got some stories themselves, right? So, just how have you been, personally? I know you've got a lot of things, a lot of changes going on right now in your personal life. How's all that coming, man?
I've been pretty good, man. Like you talked about. For me, biggest thing was I'm gonna be a licensed realtor in Ontario. For people who don't know, that's in Canada. Like whenever you always say that I'm from Canada, I'm like, do you really not know like where I'm from? Because I start to question it after a long time. It's been so long. You just say, oh, Jordan, he's up in Canada. I'm like, you can get a little more specific. But either way, I live in Toronto area for people who don't know me. And I'm going to be a licensed realtor. And that's like the biggest change for me because for the past 3 years, I was working for a renovation company and, really stagnant in my life. Wasn't sure kind of if I wanted to be there long term. Eventually, I got laid off last year like a lot of people did. And I decided to do this and it became finally, I'm done. I had to put off a lot of podcasts. I talked to you, kind of delay certain things and work around that schedule a little bit as far as tests, exams, and other various things I had to go through to get that done. But other than that, I feel good about it, but I'm definitely a little bit scared. It's not easy when I'm a person who does things a lot on my own, but I do really need to rely on my network of people and people around me to kind of make all this come together. And as much as I love everyone in the fantasy community, there's only so much they can provide for me in my work environment, right? And where for you, same type of deal, but you've managed to make this more of a business, and so you get kind of the best of both worlds. You're great at your job, and you have the fantasy community backing you as well. Senior GQue in the building, but other than that, man, I've been good, and I've been enjoying my time that I've had, especially now that I'm done. I've just had time to kind of relax. I have a few small projects with you, and a few other things I got to do. But for the most part, right now, it's just slowly building my foundation to take off for the rest of the year, man. But how you been doing? Like recently you switched jobs, and you're headed on vacation this week, so you must be excited about that. And you and the wife,
Man.
finally, the getaway, man. It's been so long, I'm sure.
Yeah, man. It's like you said, it's life, right? So many good things, so many blessings, so many fortunate things, and then there's also, you know, the challenges, that you go through. Even though things, appear to be like everything's good, everything's growing, everything's doing what it's supposed to do, it's still, you still have to balance a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Still got to balance, your own personal time first and foremost, right? Because everybody needs a little bit of time for themselves. So just having to deal with that, and work is work is work. Work is now that everybody's back, now they really want to work your ass. So you gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
So but everybody's kind of going through that. So everything is going well, man. It's going well. I actually got to meet Scott Fish out here in Dallas for the Fantasy Sports Gaming Association. Them good people. But yeah, I got to meet Scott Fish, man. He's doing a bunch of dope stuff for the fantasy community with the Scott Fish Bowl. And then we all know how much money this dude, what's it? It's well into the six figures,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
For donations for, for kids for Christmas, man. Toys. Like, that's dope. Get back to, kids that ain't going to be able to really have a Christmas. So getting to meet the creator of that was pretty damn cool, man. Get to meet one of the idols, one of the icons in the community. So that was awesome, man.
Yeah, and you want to talk about a dude that just, like, he won the Game Changer Award. Shout out to Scott Fish, #1 fan of the Black Box Show. Definitely have to give him a shout out there. But won the Matthew Berry Game Changer Award. And I was lucky enough to edit the video that he ended up seeing that people got posted on Twitter. And honestly, man, like Scott's one of the nicest people that I've never met, and it's one thing to just be a good person, but he has to deal with a lot on top of that because every year there's people who get into Scott Fish Bowl and people who don't, and there's always gonna be people who are mad and upset they don't get in, but ultimately his whole idea behind it was to just help people come together, network, and like you said, raise thousands and thousands of dollars for charity, which he's continued to do, expand over the years, bringing in bigger and bigger people to the tournament. And it's just, it takes over Twitter. It takes over fantasy football. Like, it's truly probably my favorite time of the year, honestly. Even before week one, like when Scott Fish Bowl kicks off, it's the biggest event by far in the industry. And I could not be more excited about it. But to kind of take this turn a little bit, I don't want to get too off topic here, but can we talk about how every picture I see of you more, because people who don't know, I've never met Ray in person. I know that I am significantly taller than him. But every time I see a picture of you, you get shorter and shorter in my mind. So can you clarify for the people just how tall you are? Because on Twitter, I believe you said you were a Kyler Murray 5'10", which we all know is a bunch of shit. So can you clarify for the people just how tall is old GQue, and was he playing cornerback for a reason?
I was playing cornerback because I was good at cornerback. They wanted me to play on the offensive side of the ball. I wanted to play defense. I didn't want to be a slot receiver, man. So I wanted to play defense. But your boy is 5'9", 200.
All right. That's not bad. Solid. Yeah. I could still moss you, but solid. You know.
You're crazy, man.
Solid.
You're crazy to even think that.
What? You gonna press me?
It wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter what coverage I ran against you. There's no way we could run routes 10 out of 10 times and you wouldn't catch one. You wouldn't catch one pass.
Man, okay. This is out there now.
You wouldn't catch one pass.
There will be a day when I will come down to Dallas and we will have that moment, and it will be on film and it will be on YouTube. People, I'm telling you, get excited because. Don't matter the age difference.
Let me tell you something.
Talk your shit.
Let me tell you something, man. The same way people didn't want to order that Floyd fight versus Logan Paul, they ain't gonna want to watch this.
No,
it's not gonna be pretty.
They ain't gonna want to watch it. That's okay. We can line up.
Listen, Jordan, I'm telling you, bro. If we lined up 10 out of 10 times, and I was impressed versus you, I would be hard pressed that you would get down 10 yards down the field. I would your chest.
All right. I am ready for the challenge because I know that you've had your time in the spotlight, college athlete. That's awesome. But you're a dad now, and I know you still work hard. But I think that there's been enough time that my edge it's slowly creeping in. If I wait a few more months. And, you go on vacation, maybe you ease off the gym a little bit, a few more months down the line, too busy making content. I think there's going to be a window in time that just maybe, you're underestimating me just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not a lot. Just a little bit.
I'm not underestimating you, man. I'm not underestimating you. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I'm not underestimating you. I'm just telling you that's just. I'm not even laughing. Like that's what would happen.
I know.
But maybe we can make that happen. Maybe we can make that happen one day. I like the. It made for a good 3 minutes of content right there. That was funny. All
right. So back to the show, right? And the kind of the things we want to talk about. How did you end up hearing what happened with John Rahm 2 weeks ago? Did you see that? Where
is that the COVID test?
Yes, dude had a 6-stroke lead going into the and it's a third round, 6-stroke lead, and he ended up testing positive for COVID in the middle of an event.
Yeah,
like I just don't get what was the PGA thinking. How does this happen? Like, how did the dude play basically 2.5 days, and then now he just kind of goes out with COVID in the middle of the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you would make sure that test was in enough time to not even allow somebody to go out there and do that. You know what I mean? Like you would think just logically like that wouldn't happen. That scheduling would not allow for that to happen. Like that's I don't know who that dude is. I don't know how
He's
good he
good, man.
is, how improbable this was. Okay, I don't know any of that. All I know is that situation's fucked up. That's like, quarterbacks driving down the field in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And somebody comes in out the medical stands and was like, "Yo, Patrick Mahomes, your test came back.
Literally.
You can't play." Like, why? They should have done that in an ample enough time for that not even to be an issue. That's
Yeah,
up,
and like
man.
John Rahm, probably top 10 at worst player in the world. So that's a guy, when he gets hot, he's going to close the deal, right? Especially up 6 strokes. But it reminded me of actually last year's World Series. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you watched the World Series last year, but in the very last game, Game 6, the Dodgers' third baseman, Justin Turner, tested positive for COVID in like the 7th inning of the game. So he's been playing 5 straight games, playing every game, every at-bat, in the field, touching the ball, all this stuff. And randomly, at the end of the 6th game, when the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, they say, "Oh, JT, you got to come out. You have COVID."
Wow.
Isn't that? But it's like, what's crazier is he went out for the team photo. Like, it just, everything about it just was so bad optically. And yes, the season was over. And no, it didn't really matter. But this is also in a time when COVID was kind of still a big deal. This was back last November, right? So COVID was a big deal back then. And while sports were playing, you can't be having players test positive. Where now when players test positive, like, especially in golf, I didn't expect that at all. A dude, he can play golf by himself. He doesn't need a caddy. He doesn't need a TV crew, nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, man. That's kind of weird. Like, the whole situation is just kind of like, again, that tee time is at 8 o'clock. It's going to take 24 hours to get the results in. Tell the dude to take the test, 36 hours before, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why does that come up in the middle of the, what?
Yeah. And you think about, he would have got tested before too, right? Like, it's no different than anything else. You get tested before you show up to the event, you get all these things done, protocols in place. How does someone, it just seems like something they tried to kind of cover up, and eventually they were like, oh, now we got to retest, now we got to make sure, and, dude came back positive. Just like with Turner, they waited till the last, basically the game was already over. But, he gets pulled, he goes back on the field, celebrates with his teammates, but the dude apparently has COVID. It's just bad optics, man, for everyone involved.
So speaking of bad optics, did you purchase the Floyd Paul fight? Were you one of those people who got upset at other people for purchasing the fight? Were you interested? Were you not? Did you want to see it but didn't want to pay? Like, where you fall on that whole Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul fight?
So, we got to talk about Floyd Logan Paul. I did watch it. I did not pay for it. We went back and forth about that on Twitter. But I think, to be more specific about it, I've never really thought in general pay-per-view is worth it. I never really thought paying $100 or $200 for a fight is worth it. This one in particular,
you can't hedge.
I'm not hedging.
You can't hedge.
I'm not hedging.
You got to come out with what you said.
I did not buy it, but I wouldn't buy it either way. Like, I just wouldn't buy a pay-per-view event regardless, because I'm the dude that's been streaming stuff since I was 14 years old. If I wanted to watch a fight, if I wanted to watch a football game, if I wanted to watch anything, I didn't have cable, nothing, man. I'm the dude hunting on Reddit for the streams, like I'm sure a lot of people were.
Keep going, man. Tell your story.
That's just how it is, man. I mean, I get it if you want to pay for it. People say you want to watch on your TV. These services exist. You can stream that, motherfucker. Like, it's not a big deal. People make a big deal about it. You want to pay. I know that you paid. I hope you enjoyed it, spending your hard-earned money. But like most people, when you watch a Floyd fight, you expect to be bored. Maybe you're entertained by his ability, but overall, the fight's usually pretty boring because he's the best fighter ever. So don't expect him to get hit too much, and that's pretty much what happened.
Listen, man. Listen. There are a lot of things at play. And I wish Twitter was the proper forum and medium to really have the discussion about this, because it's a lot more than just Floyd being the best ever. Like, when you think about what happened, man, you had a regular ass person, like just me and you, posting videos on YouTube that blew up to the point where he had voice with one of the greatest of all time. Like, think about think about what Logan Paul did to even get himself in the ring. And that in its own right is so incredibly impressive to me. Like, a lot of people don't like the Paul brothers, but I'm not saying how they got there and what they did or what their shtick was to get where they got. But everybody should want to, if you want to make it in this space, you should be aspiring to do what they just did. Like, they came from sitting back doing stupid shit to in the ring with the greatest fighter of his generation, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Like, think about how good of a basketball player you have to be in order to sit in a room with Michael Jordan, or how good of a singer you have to be, to be in the same aura and space as some of the great vocalists in the music industry. Like, that's pretty impressive. So, yeah, I paid for the fight. And my thing is, like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't understand, you spent your hard-earned money. Like, you really care about what I do with my finances. When people say that shit, I'm just like, are you concerned?
Yeah.
When I take out a application for a credit card with 26% interest, are you concerned for my financial well-being at that moment? No. So how the hell are you going to tell me how to spend what I make? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to spend that money on it, then I got it and I'm spending it. And I don't think twice about it. I just don't understand people who count other people's pockets. That shit is corny to me. People let people do what they want to do with their cash.
Yeah.
Man. You ain't got to say nothing about that, Like, you do you, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And it's going to be okay, right? You ain't... That's just weak. That's weird to me. It's weird.
Yeah. And I feel that, right? Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have spent the money on it. I just hope that you enjoyed it. That's it. Like, you paid for it. I hope you enjoyed it. But to go to your point about the Paul brothers.
But do you really, though? Do you really hope I enjoy it? Honestly,
you're right. I don't really give a shit if you enjoyed it or not.
Exactly. So why do we do this in life?
Because
bro?
I'm still your friend, man.
You don't hope I enjoy it.
I'm still your friend. I really do wish you enjoyed it, but
you could have ended the conversation.
Like,
you could have just said, okay, well, but you didn't have to say that part, right? You could have just been like, yeah, and people pay for what they want, and then you could have kept going. You added, I hope you enjoyed it. And you're making it seem like you're like kind of caring, but you're really being an asshole.
Yeah, but you can see through that. You can see through that. Every time we have a conversation, there's a moment where I might throw a little something in there where I'm being a bit of an asshole, and that's our relationship, and that's okay. But to go talk about Logan and what is it, and Jake, right? I think now that you're in the YouTube space, you must imagine like how hard their journey must have been to get there, which is why, like you're saying, that appreciation for what they did. It is not easy to be that famous on YouTube. Like, it doesn't just happen. Like, they have to work so hard for so long. Like, I think it's been over 10 years for both of them on YouTube, which is just crazy. But again, that's, the grind that they put in. And, for you doing it for a year, me helping you and working with you for a year, that's not that long compared to everything they've done. And they've done it at a much higher level of success, which is insane. And to make as much money as they did off that fight, like Floyd making, I don't know, did you see the final figures for that fight? But I believe Floyd made over $100 million.
I didn't.
And then...
Yeah, I think it was I heard over 100 million.
And then Logan probably made, I think, upwards of 15 or 20. I know that his base salary was over $1 million. So it's just like, man, and for that fight, geez, like the experience and to be paid for that experience, man, I would go in. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight Floyd for free, but I would do it for the experience, right? If you could get paid for that experience on top of that, that is just, home run, like milestones upon milestones upon milestones. And to see what that guy's done over the years, just making money, building wealth on top of wealth, it almost doesn't even make sense at this point. That dude just steps in the ring for an hour and makes $100 million, and then he just steps away for 2 years and does whatever he wants. It's truly astounding, man.
That's crazy, right? It's crazy, right? And yeah, to your point about the Paul brothers, I remember it was something I was listening to about them, on them, and they pretty much said that they like it was like a work day, like they had to make multiple videos every day, like consistently. They were like, we made videos for X number of days straight. And being on the other side of the camera and knowing how difficult it is to schedule a show, let alone having the energy to do this multiple times a day, every day, and get it edited and out the door the next day. Like, I just know how incredibly hard that is. Like, I can get a couple out, and then I'm asking you to do one or two. And at the end of the week, if we have 4 shows, like, we're like, dude, we
killed
did
this.
it. Like, yes, we killed it. They're doing 4 shows a day, every day for years straight. Like, the grind, man, like, I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. And I don't care if it's YouTube, if it's fantasy football, if it's cutting grass, if it's chopping down trees, if it's cooking and bake, like, whatever your grind is, like, that type of hustle to where you become the best at what you do, or, like, there's nothing I'll ever say about their hustle, man. Like, are they people that I would kick it with? I don't know. Maybe in the past, maybe, but now, no. But it's irrelevant, man. The grind, the grind, and what they did to get there. You got to respect that, man.
And like you said, whatever it is you're passionate about, whatever it is that you want to do, that level of dedication is admirable, no matter how you want to look at it. Like, to dedicate themselves to that degree, that's the 1%. Yeah. Like, I'm crazy about this. When people talk about you have to be crazy about your dreams to make them happen, like, those guys were crazy about it, dedicated, working each and every day to get to where they are now. And like you said, maybe you don't like them. Maybe you think they're corny. Maybe you think they're weird, whatever. They worked to get to the lifestyle they have now, and it's very difficult to argue with their level of success and everything they worked to achieve, because they probably worked a lot harder than certain people did that are hoping to gain the same level of success but aren't willing to work for it the way they did, right? And that's ultimately what it comes down to in this world. Yeah. And we talk to a lot of people in the fantasy industry. They just aren't quite there yet, right? They're not quite willing to put in enough work. Maybe they're not quite achieving their goals, and they're wondering why. Maybe it just comes down to the work. Maybe it's just simple as that.
Yeah, man, but it's not that simple, man. And I don't want people to think that it is. Like, it's not that simple, There are people out there who put in tons of work, man. Like, tons of work in the space. Some of it is just, I tell people all the time, sometimes, man, like, a lot of hard work. If you ever have an opportunity, look at Netflix, their sort of company values and how they run their organization, their company. And I'm not saying I completely agree with it, but basically what they said is hard work gets you like a nice severance package at the end of the day. Like we don't care about how hard you work. We want production. We want quality, this is what we want. Like, you can work as hard as you want, but ultimately results is what matters here. And some people work incredibly hard, man, but they just, for whatever reason, they don't have it. And I don't know what that is. I think it's a little bit of everything. It's an ability to connect with people, the ability to let yourself be vulnerable and let in, criticism. Shows that you're not always sitting on top of the mountain holier than thou and you're always right. Like, you got to be able to, when you're wrong, you got to be able to come out and say, damn, I was wrong, missed on that one. Or you have to be vulnerable, and people respect that. People resonate with that. So it's not just about hard work. There are a lot of things and then sometimes you got to entertain, man. Like, you have to be entertaining. You have to be able to captivate. Sometimes at the end of the day, somebody's riding home, man, and they just want to hear some real talk. They just want to sit back and be like, damn, I feel that. I don't want to always hear, 1 + 6 = this many yards and plus this. And let me tell you, like, sometimes they just want to hear something else, a different vibe, different speed. And some people have that and some people don't. So hard work is awesome. That's great. But, I mean, end of the day, can you deliver or can you not? Are you going to do it or you're not? All that hard work. Sometimes it just doesn't matter, man. And
I love the way you put that. I want to close out the show real quick. Is there anything new you've been listening to? Because for me, I haven't really, been liking a whole lot lately. I'm still heavily into the Cole world. And, Migos dropped. A few other people dropped. And it's been very underwhelming music wise. We haven't talked about music for a while, but I'm curious because I haven't even sent you anything. I haven't sent you anything for a while. Like the last big song I sent you, I think was probably Ramen and OJ, which is a fire song. If you haven't heard it, listen to that. But for you, have you listened to anything new? Because I know our styles are a little bit different.
Yeah, new, man. I've actually been feeling Rod Wave a little bit. So, really looking at Rod Wave. I'm listening to him a little bit. And then I'm taking it back, man. When I'm riding, I like the vibe, baby. I like the vibe. So I'm back on that Wiz Khalifa Cushion Orange Juice right now. Yeah, you know, that's a nice chill staple. Wiz Cushion OJ. Yeah. It's a good staple. Mesmerized. Yeah, it's a classic, man. So I kind of took it back there. I know Lil Baby and Lil Durk put out an album.
Trash.
But, I saw. Is it trash? It's number one on Billboard.
Terrible.
But that really doesn't mean shit.
Terrible. It was mixed. It sounds like it was mixed by you and me, bro. It's not worth listening to.
Oh man, and Lil Baby dope too. But
I like him, but man.
Yeah, man. So that's it. I'm on that Wiz. I'm on that Rod Wave, man. I'm just chilling, man. Good to be back.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Like for me, it's been Cole or nothing, and I feel bad because I want to listen to other music, but Cole just smashing. Like I can't get it out of my playlist. It's all I've been listening to. I throw it back to 2017 a lot, you know, back to when Culture dropped, and Big Sean I'm another big fan of, you know, like whether it's Detroit 2 or what was his last album now? Oh man, I forget what it was. But Big Sean, big artist for me. He came up big after he switched over to good music. Either way, man, it's been episode 6 of the Black Box Show. Ray, happy to be back, man. What's up?
Hold up.
What's up?
Rushing. You gotta listen. I know you're trying to close this out. Let me just teach you a little something, young buck. You gotta be able to ease out of the show. Like that was a good topic we had there because I was gonna respond by saying, "What's your best J. Cole album?" Give me an opportunity to expound upon the conversation a little bit, baby. What's your best J. Cole album? Top one.
It's 2014 Forest Hills Drive. It's really not that close.
For me, it's Friday Night Lights, the mixtape. Like. That to me was the best Cole project, man.
Yeah, it's interesting because I watched an interview with him and he talked about how 2014 Forest Hills Drive was like it's his debut album, right? And so he really had to prove something to everyone that he belonged in this music world, right, in this rap scene. And he was talking about how his most recent album, The Off Season, was like him getting back to that because people would talk about, you know, with For Your Eyes Only was kind of like, it was more for him. And then KOD was like very conscious rap about drugs and overdosing, all these things. Again, not to say he fell off, but people were kind of questioning him. Is he going to come back? Is he going to come harder? Is he going to come harder? And he said that like set in with him. It like reaped into his soul. And he was like, nah, I got to give the people that good shit now. And so it's funny when I listened to it after hearing that interview, I was like, yeah, it really sounds like he's trying to recapture that level, especially as far as rap and everything goes that he once had, to prove to people that he still got it, right? If he wants to put it out, he can. And that for me was really, really cool to hear because that's kind of exactly how I feel. And so to hear him say that, I was like, wow, that really resonated with me, in particular with Forest Hills Drive being my favorite album and then this one probably being my second favorite.
Yeah, man. I mean, you dove deep into that one. I mean, you know, shit, I ain't got nothing else to say, bro. I ain't got nothing else to say.
All right, man. So are you good? You ready to close it out? Episode 6 of the Black Box Show. Finito. Happy to be back. We're probably going to do it bi-weekly, you said, so probably in the 2 weeks because you're on vacation anyway, so it's fine. But hopefully 2 weeks, new Black Box Show, episode 7. You know, sports, life, culture, everything RayGQue and JRich. We'll see you guys next week or 2 weeks from now. We out. Peace.